But I don't understand. Can you repeat that?
I know it's a shock for you. As far as we can make out, they had some kind of argument on their way home, and your daughter was rather badly assaulted by her husband.
Assaulted?
Yes, he hit her and then went on hitting her. Then he carried her in here with a threatened miscarriage.
Gavin hit Prue?
That's what he told us. We've only got his account of what happened because your daughter hasn't been able to talk yet.
I'm sorry, could you light this for me? Gavin, beat her up.
Do you happen to know if there's any history of violence?
What?
Has he ever struck your daughter before?
No. At least I don't think so. Could I see her?
Well, I wouldn't really advise it. You won't be able to talk to her, and... Well, it's just that her face... You may get rather a shock.
I'd still like to see her.
All right. It's up to you. Don't you want to phone your husband first?
I don't know where he is. He had to go out.
Mummy, did you know Daddy's been screwing his secretary in our flat while we were away? No! No!
Was all that true?
Yes. I never meant you to know.
When did it start?
In the summer.
When I was in Devon.
Yes.
I feel so stupid. I should have noticed. I thought I would notice. I always said I would. What a fool I must be.
No, no, please.
I suppose you were lonely. That it?
I didn't mean to hurt you.
It's still going on.
Yes.
You in love with her?
I don't know what I feel. I'm very fond of her, yes. Look, I blame myself entirely. It's got nothing to do with us. It doesn't change how I feel about you. I didn't plan it. It just happened, and then by the time you came back, I didn't want it to stop. I don't know why.
Don't you?
What do you mean?
Prue was away too. Why did you take her to Prue's flat?
I couldn't think of anywhere else.
Stop lying to me. It's all about Prue, isn't it? It's Prue you wanted to hurt. Well, she knew that, of course, which is why she wanted revenge. Well, she certainly got it.
It's nothing to do with her.
I told you it was an obsession. I'd like to injure you. I mean it. It'll make me feel much better. Funny. Always thought you were faithful. I couldn't ask. I didn't want to know if you weren't. I just imagined you were. It was safer that way. I am very possessive. I realize it's not attractive, but I try to control it. My husband, my children. I know you can't really own people. Not really. But it's just too much. You can't even be unfaithful to me. It has to be her. She have to have every little bit of you. I want you to go now.
So, I came to you. I couldn't think what else to do. All day there was something in the air. You could tell something was wrong.
You really shouldn't have done it, you know.
And she wasn't herself. Oh, it was ghastly. She kept dropping little hints, looking at me to see if I was frightened, playing with me.
Wouldn't you like another glass of wine, Daddy?
She saved it up till dinner. Oh, she'd been drinking, of course, but she wasn't drunk.
Because really clever burglars have keys.
Sit down, I'll get you a drink.
Oh, thank you. Oh, God. Cassie's face.
Mummy, did you know Daddy's been screwing his secretary in our flat while we were away?
You were in her bed. You and that girl.
We'd nowhere else to go.
I don't want to hear any more.
But you don't understand. It was something that happened, not your fault, not because of Prue, just something I did. I was wrong, I admit that, but there wasn't a reason. I mean, it was just an impulse, something I did, something I've never done before.
Can't you shut up about it?
But I'm trying to make you understand.
I do understand. I feel sick.
Then you got it wrong.
Can't you see? I'm jealous. Just that. Every time I look at you, I see you with her. She's all over you. You smell of her. You're contaminated.
Darling, don't, please.
I know. I should be civilized or whatever they call it. I can't. I want you to go.
But we've got to talk.
Please. Go away. Please.
She wanted to be alone. I hurt her badly.
Do you want to phone her?
It's up to her when she feels ready to talk. She's the injured party. Apart from you, that is. You're having a rotten time, aren't you?
It's just ironic. All that wishing for time together, and now we've got it, we can't enjoy it. Why do you think Prue did it?
Well, I suppose she wanted to punish me.
And punish her mother too?
Well, maybe that was the only way she could punish me properly. Maybe it wouldn't have been enough to tell me in private she despised me.
We shouldn't have used her flat. If only I'd refused to go back there, then none of this would have happened.
Well, you mustn't blame yourself.
Of course I blame myself.
It can't be helped.
But you love her. And your wife. You love both of them.
And I love you.
Yes, I know you love all three of us, but it doesn't work, does it? You've always loved them best. There's never been a place for me. Perhaps Prue's just trying to bring you to your senses.
Perhaps you did me a favor. And this could be our chance. We could make a fresh start. There's plenty of time. No more secrecy. God, it's such a refuge to be in this place. To be here with you. Maybe it was meant to happen like this.
Don't think any more. Come and get some sleep.
Sarah, you're so good to me. I need you. Don't leave me.
Where would I go?
Oh, Mrs. Manson, are you all right?
Yes. Yes, I think so.
Come and sit down for a bit.
No, I must be getting back. She looks so.
Yes, I know.
You're going to look after her?
Part of the time.
You're very young.
Well, I'm in my second year.
What's your name?
Jones.
Nurse Jones. I remember that. And, the doctor I was talking to just now.
Dr. Carter.
Dr. Carter. My own child, and I can't even look at her without being sick. No use.
You've had a shock.
I can't tell my parents. You see, my mother's ill and the shock might kill her, and I don't know where my husband is.
Mrs. Manson, you really should go home and rest.
Yes. I haven't any friends. have I done with my life? Not to have any friends.
What about a shirt for the morning?
Oh, that one will do.
It's dirty. You can't wear a dirty shirt to the office.
I may not go in.
But you've got the Americans at 11.
I can buy a shirt on the way in.
No, I'll wash it.
Oh, please, don't bother.
There's no bother.
Are you feeling better now, Mrs. Manson?
I was, just trying to ring my husband. He's, not back yet. I'd like to see my daughter's husband.
I don't think that's a very good idea.
I'm quite calm now.
Well, you see, from our point of view, he's a patient too. Although we'll probably discharge him in the morning. Couldn't it wait until then? You both need some sleep.
You don't trust me?
Well, let's just say that I feel a confrontation might be too much. For both of you.
You're protecting him from me. You're quite right, of course. I'd like to kill him. Must be what they say about violence breeding violence.
Something like that.
Very ugly world, isn't it? Never realized before.
Mummy, did you know Daddy's been...
Mrs. Manson, I guess you hate my guts, but I had to see you.
I think I've been expecting you. Last night, I wanted to kill you.
I don't blame you. Is your husband awake yet?
He's not here. We needed a breathing space.
Yeah, I can imagine. They told me you saw her last night.
Yes.
What can I say? I'm responsible. Would you believe me if I said I'm as shocked as you are? I can't believe I did that to her. There are no excuses for what I did. But there are reasons.
Tell me.
I don't know where to begin.
Just begin. Whatever you like.
In a way, the whole thing's my fault. The girl who walked in and found them told me, not Prue. I could have kept the whole thing to myself. I wish to God I had. But this thing between Prue and her dad, it really got to me. I guess I was jealous. Well, not jealous exactly. But I felt kind of shut out. So I told her. I wanted to tell her. I was really glad to have something on him after all he'd said about me. I wanted to make her stop looking at him as some kind of god.
Go on.
After I told her, she went out of her mind. It was as if her dad had done her an injury. She was hell-bent on telling you to get back at him. I never imagined her wanting to do that. I was scared. So, finally, I told her that if she told you, I'd knock her head off. I thought that was the end of it. I honestly did. Then, yesterday, on the train, she was in one of her moods, and... That's why I rang you up. I wanted to warn you there was something wrong. I still love her. She just scares me, that's all. She has this need for violence. It was okay at first. She just wanted me to get rough with her when we made love. And that was kind of fun. But after a while, it got beyond that. She wanted more. She used to keep picking fights with me, and I didn't understand. I thought it was just a game. It's like she has some crazy scheme in her head, and she wants me to join in. I'm really scared that if this goes on and on, one day I'll kill her.
I don't think it'll be so bad again. Really. She's tested you to the limit now.
You sound as if it makes sense to you.
Well, there's a bit of this thing in me, too. Maybe Prue got it from me.
You mean your old man beats you up?
It's the last thing he'd ever do. But there was a time when I would have liked him to have been, well, more aggressive. Look, it's really very simple. Most women like a man to be masterful, even a bit rough. Now, you've only got to take that a stage further and you've got real violence, real pain. Now, the problem is how to stop it. How to provide enough to satisfy someone's need without letting it all get out of hand like it did last night.
This thing with Prue, I think it's gone beyond that. I think she wants me to punish her for something. Look, it's difficult to say this. Prue and her dad feel pretty strongly about each other, don't they? Do you think that's, do you think Prue feels guilty about that? Could that be why she wants me to punish her? This must never happen again.
I shouldn't think it will. We can hardly do a scene like that twice.
God, you're crazy.
I'm feeling better. As soon as they told me the baby was all right, I stopped hurting. Isn't it terrific?
Terrific.
Aren't you going to kiss me?
I thought your face looked too sore.
Oh, my mouth isn't sore. You only chipped one of my teeth. Look. I think it looks rather attractive. The rest of my face is a mess, I agree, but it won't last. Come on, it's not as bad as all that. I'm still alive.
Yeah.
Hurt like hell at the time, of course. I don't think you realize how strong you are. But it served me right. Please.
What?
Kiss. Kiss and make up. Can't have my baby's father not speaking to me.
God, I feel like a criminal.
Well, if I don't think you are, why should you?
Look, Prue, this is serious. You've got to cut out all this stuff. It's too dangerous. No more games. You drive me too far and I can't control myself. Look, it's not funny. I might have killed you last night.
But you didn't. How are Mummy and Daddy taking it?
Your mother's fantastic. I haven't seen your dad. You did a terrible thing, you know.
I know. They will forgive me, won't they? I mean, they must.
Yeah, I suppose they must.
That's all right, then.
Darling, I've had a lot of time to think since you left. First of all, I wasn't quite honest with you when you were taking all the blame. I was too hurt, and there were things I wanted to keep private. But now I think that was selfish of me and unjustified. It seems to me there are several reasons why we're in this situation. The normal attraction between you and Sarah, the stress of Prue's marriage, which you found so very hard to cope with, and a very natural longing for excitement and change after being married for so many years. We've only talked about the first two reasons. It's the third one I want to write about now. 5 years ago, I had to face the fact that I would never have another child, and we'd been married a long time. Do you remember it was about this time that Prue was sculpted by Sven? I never wanted to tell you this, but now I think you have a right to know. I had an affair with him for 2 years, and it was very painful and humiliating because he did not care for me at all, except in bed, and I was in love with him. It was also in a way the happiest time in my life. That isn't meant to hurt you, just to prove that I can understand how you feel about Sarah. I've never felt more alive than when I was with him. In fact, the more he despised me, the more I adored him. I even wanted to have a child by him before it was too late. But in the end, that was something I couldn't do to you. It was a very difficult affair to manage because of you and the children. Sometimes when he phoned, I couldn't go to him because they were there. And then I really wished you all dead. I think I was a little out of my mind. At other times I'd phone him and he'd say, "Not now, I'm working." Or I'd go round there if I was quite desperate, without phoning, to his house, to the studio. And he might make love to me if I was lucky. But sometimes he just said, "Go away. I don't want you today. I've got someone else coming." He knew I'd always come back. When he left, he didn't tell me or anyone else. One day the house was empty, and then the estate agent's board went up. I was ill and depressed for months, and the doctor kept giving me those pills. Do you remember? I thought it was a punishment from God. Making Sven go away was so much worse than any death I'd been praying for. I've told you all this to prove I understand the need for excitement, even misery, after years of contentment. To be in love again and drunk, instead of just loving and sober. I also thought if I told you it might help you to understand about Prue. Now, don't get alarmed. She's perfectly all right. But she's in hospital because Gavin hit her rather badly on their way home.
Christ! That bastard knocked her about.
What? What's happened?
God almighty, I'd kill him. That bitch couldn't even tell me.
What is it?
He was very upset by her behavior and he lost control. But I've talked to him and I'm certain he loves her and is terribly ashamed of what he did. It seems they've always had a very violent relationship, instigated and encouraged by Prue, and leading up to the other night when it got completely out of hand. My relationship with Sven was also violent, though obviously it never went as far as this. But I expect you remember the time I was always getting bruised and I blamed it on clumsiness. I don't say this to hurt you, but to explain how I know what Prue feels, and why what Gavin did isn't all his fault. Remember how we tried to cope with this problem in a much less dramatic way when we were first married, and we solved it. If that's the word. By ignoring it. This was an area where you couldn't meet me. You were always so gentle and sweet. So I tried to suppress this side of me because everything else was so good. But it came out again when I met Sven. It's been painful to write about, and I hope we won't have to discuss it. I just wanted to stop you feeling you were the unfaithful husband of a faithful wife. And I wanted to make you understand about Prue without wanting to kill Gavin, which was my first reaction. He's staying here at present so he can visit her every day. I still love you. And I would like you to come home. Obviously not before you're ready. Perhaps I should not assume you will ever be ready. But if you want to see me, you know where I am. I'll always be here.
Are you very angry with me? I was wrong to tell Mummy. I'm sorry. Can you forgive me?
Oh, I suppose you had your reasons.
I thought I did, but really it was just spite. I pretended it wasn't, but Gavin knew at once it was spite. Oh, I'm too much for him, I know I am. He doesn't understand, and I can't make him understand. I think he's afraid of me now. He keeps blaming himself, and I don't want him to. He talks as if it was the end of the world.
Please, come on now, don't cry.
I love him very much, and I need him.
Yes. Yes, I see that.
Have you made it up with Mummy yet? Is it all right? She's been marvellous to me. So understanding. She's amazing, isn't she?
Yes. Yes, amazing.
It will be all right between you, won't
no,
it?
Please, Prue, now, don't push it. It's our affair.
But I'm sure she'll forgive you. I think she has already. I know I'd forgive Gavin anything. Oh, you must make it up. I can't bear it.
We must make it up because you can't bear it. What can't you bear? To see what you've done? And don't you imagine a few bruises make the whole thing all right? You've got to live with what you did.
I'm glad you came to see her.
Are you?
She was asking for you. She wanted to apologize.
Yes, well... To be forgiven, you mean?
What else can we do? She really is sorry.
Is she?
I tried to explain that.
Oh, yes, in your letter. Well, you wrote that to punish me, didn't you?
No, not consciously
You
anyway.
could have rang me at the office. Instead, you make me wait all this time. She could have died.
No, she couldn't.
I suppose you thought it served me right. I don't have any rights as a father now, is that it?
Just couldn't explain on the phone.
What about Prue? Oh, Sven, I mean, you put that first, I noticed. Prue was an afterthought. Oh, by the way, Prue's in hospital. Don't worry, it's fun to be beaten up. There's not much to choose between you, is there? My God, and to think you made me feel guilty. I actually felt guilty for loving my own daughter and being unfaithful to you. If this hadn't happened, you wouldn't have told me about him, would you? But when you did, my God, you did it thoroughly. You must have wanted to make me feel I'd been there.
Maybe I said too much. So bear it. I think I was trying to relive the memories, not punish you.
I don't feel I know you anymore.
But that's absurd.
Yes. You're strangers. Both of you. You don't need me. You obviously understand each other perfectly.
I was trying to help you understand. You feel less guilty.
You honestly thought now was the time to fail me with all the solid details of your revolting affair with Prue in hospital. She could have died. Do you realize that? Well, I hope you know what you're doing.
Now you're being ridiculous.
Am I? Oh, well, I suppose you're the expert. I suppose I'm too old-fashioned to appreciate the finer points of sadism.
Oh, don't be so pompous. Do you see it's more important to try and understand people than worry about wounded feelings?
I didn't notice you being very understanding on Sunday night.
Well, I've admitted that, and I'm trying to make up for it.
Oh, you're trying to get even.
Do we have to have a slanging match? I don't think it'll help.
I don't think anything will help.
Well, eventually you know whether you want to be with me or Sarah.
What does that mean, you want me back?
I've already said that. If you want to come, that is.
How very welcoming.
Sorry, I'm too tired for emotion.
But you wished me dead.
No.
Yes, you did. In your letter, when you were groveling to him, you wished me and the children dead.
Well, did I write that? It's all a long time ago.
You wanted me dead, and you wanted his child.
Look, when I wrote that letter, I'd been up half the night. First of all, I had you and Sarah to think about. Then Prue in hospital, then Gavin telling me his side of the story. I was in such a state I can't even remember what I wrote. I just felt I had to be honest.
Well, you did that all right. I just can't tell you how dirty I think the whole thing is.
I could say the same about you using Prue's flat.
There was nowhere else to go.
All the hotels closed
Oh,
down.
you know what I mean.
Yes. It's the only place you wanted to go.
Look, let's drop it, shall we?
Yes, of course. Now you're not winning. While you were telling me how disgusting I am, it was all worthwhile. I was right not to want to tell you. Before. Must have known you'd trample all over it.
You're not ashamed of anything, are you?
Should I be? Are you ashamed? Does it help? I must tell Gavin he certainly feels ashamed. It's ironic, really, because he has more provocation than any of us.
I don't want to hear his name.
I don't see how you'll avoid it, what with Prue and the baby and everything. Or are you planning to cut us all out of your life?
I don't know what I'm planning.
No, in time.
What do you mean if Sarah lets me down? I'll come back to you. The way that you stayed with me because he went away.
There was never any question of leaving you.
Only because he didn't want you. You told me you wanted his child. You wished us all dead.
You should stop saying
But
that.
it's true, isn't it? You put it in your letter when you were being honest.
I never thought of leaving you.
But you would have, if he'd asked you.
I knew it would never arise.
So you put up with me. How very generous.
It wasn't the same. You got me and Sarah. Surely you know what I mean. I don't maybe wish I told you.
And it hurt. I didn't know how to deal with it. I'm sorry I'm taking it so badly. It means a lot to you, doesn't it?
I felt I was betraying him, telling you. I never meant to tell you, but this thing with Prue brought it all back. It seemed relevant.
I just can't get over how alike you must be. I never realized. I mean, this whole business of violence, I don't understand it. I feel quite inadequate. I mean, I looked at you just now, and you were a stranger. I mean, your letter shocked me. I know it's very old-fashioned to be shocked, but I was.
You still are.
I can't help it.
I know.
Well, I suppose I'd better be getting back. Can I give you a lift?
Well, no, I've got the car.
Well, you can contact me at the office if you want.
Yes, I don't want the other
No,
number.
no. I meant I don't think I'll be coming to see Prue again.
Oh?
No, unless there's any change. Will you let me know?
Yes, of course.
You blame me. I can feel it.
I've no energy left to blame anyone.
They've all gone mad. All three of them. They're the only sane person left.
Don't be too sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Thank you. I mean, it's amazing how alike they all are. Destructive, only I'd never realized.
I don't know about Prue and Gavin. I can't believe your wife's destructive.
Oh, but she is. I mean, look at her letter. Only a destructive person could write that.
Well, I wouldn't know.
But then look at it. Come on, read it. Read it, for God's sake, then you'll see what I mean.
It's nothing to do with
No.
me.
I want you to read it.
She only meant it for you.
She's proud of it. She'd like everyone to know. She had an affair with a second-rate sculptor who knocked her about. She's just like Prue. It's no wonder I don't understand.
You're just shocked you'll get over it.
Oh, you're not like that, are you?
No, I'm not like that.
It's as if I've never really known them. And I've loved them both devotedly all my life. I mean, it could have all been so different. I could have stayed at Cambridge. I had my own world there. I never wanted to take over the business, you know. I wasn't even interested in publishing when I was young. The family expected me to, and then when you have a wife and children, you do things for them. When something like this happens, you feel your whole life's been a fraud.
It wasn't until that night in the hospital that I realized I hadn't any friends. There wasn't a soul I could ring up in the middle of the night.
That's hard to understand. You're the kind of person who ought to have friends. Not a lot, maybe, but 2 or 3 really good ones. You give out so much, don't you want to get a little back?
I think I've got enough from the family till now. I never really needed anyone else. When I was at college, I had friends. When I got married and had children, I just seemed to lose touch with everyone without even noticing.
You never told me you went to college.
I was a real blue stocking. That's how I met Peter. He was reading classics and I was reading English, and we were introduced in a pump. Doesn't it sound silly?
Romantic.
Yes, it was. A long time ago.
Do you think he'll be back soon? Only I'd hate to think of you here all alone.
Be back when he's ready, I suppose. I don't really know. Well, you mustn't worry about me. I'll be all right.
I'm not so sure. I don't think you're so good at looking after yourself. Other people, yes. Yourself, no.
Well, I can learn. Maybe that's why I don't have friends. If I did, I might become too dependent on them. Hey, that looks good.
Yeah. Did a lot of practice cooking for Prue.
Yes. Thank you.
Can I ask you something? Are you really upset about him and his secretary? Because I don't think these things are important. I mean, even if Prue and I, well, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
No, it's not the end of the world. I thought it was at first, but it's not. I tried to tell Peter that, but he didn't understand.
I'm glad you feel that way. I know it was one hell of a shock the way Prue told you. But it's what you and he have got together that really matters.
Yes.
He'll come back. He'd be such a fool not to.
You needn't worry about me. This really is delicious. I'm very impressed. It was such a change to be waited...
If I want to worry about you, I will.
You've got enough to worry about with Prue.
She's tougher than all of us. She doesn't need me.
You mustn't think that. I know she does.
Oh, sure, I have a function to perform in her life. Husband, lover, father of her kid. But aside from all that, I don't think she knows who I am. She just takes what she wants and leaves the rest lying around in bits. She doesn't wait to be offered what I want to give. She's not interested in that. She's got to grow up.
So have I. So's everyone.
You? You're grown up, all right. I guess you always were. See, what do I call you? Mrs. Manson seems too formal. I can't call you Mom. I haven't had any parents since I was a 9-year-old kid. My aunt brought me up. I ran out on her when I was 14. I've been away from the States so long, I don't even think of it as home anymore. I don't know where I belong. You can grow up a lot in 8 years.
Or a day.
So what do I call you?
I suppose you call me Cassie.
Cassie. Say, this is good. She hasn't changed much, has she?
No.
Who did this?
Somebody called Sven Eriksson. He was a neighbour of ours years ago. He used to teach art in the village and drop in for dinner and talk about sculpture. Peter used to get rather bored, but I didn't. He sculpted Prue on the cheap because we were friends. It was very kind of him. People around here didn't like him much because he had moods, but in his way he was very kind.
You've not had an easy life, have you?
No. It's awful. I've not said that before.
It's true.
Yes.
So what's wrong with telling the truth to a friend? We are friends, aren't we, Cassie?
Yes.
I mean, really friends.
Yes.
Shake, friend. Baby, never mind. It's all right. Cry it out. I can't.
Thank you. I didn't know I wanted to cry. What I was crying for.
Cassie.
No. We're not going to do this.
Aren't we?
No. No.
Why not?
No.
Just tell me to stop and I will.
What about Prue?
Your husband? What about them?
We're not going to do this. I'd forgotten it could be like that. I feel I'm myself again. For the first time in years.
That's good, isn't it?
Yes. But it scares me.
You know what I'm looking forward to now? Actually sleeping with you.
Easily arranged.
You have a beautiful body.
I had 3 children.
I know. It helps. You really Cassandra?
Yes, of course.
How did that happen?
My parents in a mad moment. Most uncharacteristic.
I like it. Hope you don't have her gloomy gifts, though.
Don't think so.
Can I call you Cassandra? Can I?
When?
In the future?
I suppose that might look a bit odd. Nobody ever uses it.
That's why I want to. Has anyone ever used it before?
Only one person.
Sven.
Yes.
I'm in good company. Do I remind you of him?
Yes. You're very alike. Sounds ridiculous because he was nearly 40 and going bald when I met him. Because I loved him, I could see him as a young man, an old man. Into his past and into his future. Wanted his whole life.
Am I a substitute?
No. You bring back a lot of memories.
Is he the only lover you've ever had?
Yes.
I'm honored. I've wanted you for a very long time.
Have you?
I thought you'd notice.
No pangs of conscience?
No. And you're not to have any either. When you think of all we've been through, getting on so well, it would have been wrong not to make love.
Complete immoralist.
I don't know what that means.
Yes, you do. Doesn't matter. Never mind.
What's worrying you?
I feel I've done the worst thing I possibly could to her.
Is that why you did it?
I don't know. Don't think so. How can I be sure?
Bye, Mummy. Thanks for everything. Especially the car.
Take care.
Oh, I'll be fine. See you soon.
See you, Cassandra.